Release our anger. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lay down. Close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose, feeling your chest and belly rise, and exhale long through your mouth. Take a moment to notice where anger sits in your body. Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your jaw? Breathe deeply, inviting relaxation to this area. Visualize the fire of anger in your belly burning brightly. Now visualize directing this fire into a flowing river. Visualize the anger like a hot, molten lava flowing from your belly or your chest or your shoulders into the calm, flowing, cool river. Send your anger to the river. With each breath, with each exhale, send your anger to the river and invite peace. Visualize the water cooling the flames of your anger, transforming that hot lava into calm, cool energy. Feel the tension leaving your body as the river carries this heat away. So the anger from your belly up into the exhale, into the river. Hot lava from your belly up into your mouth. Flames of anger going into the cool river. Repeat. I release my anger to create space for peace. I release this anger to invite peace and harmony. My anger is valid and I can express it healthily. I release the volatile flames of anger. I'm in control of my energy. I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of my anger. Feel the anger rising from the pit of your stomach up into your mouth and release the flames of anger into the cool river. I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of this anger. I'm ready to express my anger healthily. Gradually, when you're ready, bring your awareness back to your body and to the present moment. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Feel the ground or the chair beneath you. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine yourself releasing any tension from your body. When you're ready, open your eyes, knowing that you've taken a step towards healing your anger. You are in control of your emotions. You can express your anger healthily. Know that this practice is always here for you. Whenever anger feels overwhelming, you can take a deep breath in and push it out. Release it because you are in charge of your energy. You are in charge of expressing your anger healthily. This practice is always here for you. And now let's get into tapping to release your anger, even though. So all you have to do is tap on the points that I'm tapping and repeat the statements as best as you can. Even though anger has been a big part of my life, I'm ready to release it. I feel this anger and I want to release it. I've had this long relationship with anger and I want to release it. I can release this anger. I can manage my anger. I can, under your eyes, I can express my anger healthily. Above your mouth, I'm in charge of my anger. I'm in charge of my anger. I'm in charge on your chin. I'm in charge under your mouth. I'm in charge of my anger. I am in control of my energy. I'm in control of my emotion. Now tap on your chest. I can release this anger and invite peace. I release this anger and invite peace. I release this anger and invite peace. Hug yourself underneath your armpits. I am ready to release this anger. I'm ready to release this anger. This anger does not have a hold on me. Top of your head, I release this anger. I release this anger and I invite peace, calm, harmony, and regulation to my body. I can release this anger healthily. I release this anger. I release the anger. The anger is no longer a part of me. This volatile, angry energy is not allowed in my body. It's not a part of me anymore. Whew. So the key with tapping is that you've got to make it your own. Same with breath work. There's a lot of breath work that you can do to release the anger, like one I just showed you. Even if you don't do the whole meditation every single time, but if you feel angry, and you can do it physically, you can push it with you can stand up and you can squat and you can push it out with your whole entire being and energy, right? So it's called the lion's breath, and there's a few, and I'll make videos on breath work. I think I really should. So so for anger, there is breath of fire, which is really powerful breath work to release your anger. Because anger is one of those emotions, if suppressed, can lead to so much destruction in your body. If you suppress your anger or if you ruminate with it, if it becomes a part of your identity, if you become that angry person who identifies with their anger all the time and then gets into that emotional addiction of anger, that's when anger gets wired into your nervous system. And that's what you can release with breath work. This meditation is very powerful, and tapping. So whenever you feel that anger rising up in you, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't approach problems, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't express your anger, right? You've got to problem solve. And anger is that fire that gives you motivation to problem solve. But you've got to skim off that layer of unhealthy anger, that volatile, reactive energy. You've got to release it so you can sit with that healthy anger and understand, what is this anger trying to tell me? What is underneath this anger? Is it grief, sadness, betrayal, abandonment? What truly am I feeling? Because anger is a strong emotion. When you release it and manage it, you will find that you are really sad. That your inner child, your inner teen is angry for you on your behalf. Maybe you were abandoned, betrayed, insulted, disrespected, belittled, criticized. Boundaries were crossed, abuse, right? Many reasons, and many reasons to be rightfully angry. But the key to manage your anger and to make sure that you grow with that anger. The key is to release it regularly, release it over and over again, release it with your breath, release it with your body, release the anger with tapping, release it with movement, release it with screaming, release that anger so you can get to what's underneath it, right? That's the key. Otherwise, you're just going to sit with that anger and just be really angry. And it's going to hurt you. And you're going to do things that really don't serve your best, highest self, right? When we're so angry and we're so in that emotional addiction of being angry at the traffic or at the somebody who cut you off, somebody said something, right? There's so many reasons to be angry. You've got to learn to pick and choose your battle. You've got to learn to not get blended in with your anger. You've got to learn to control and manage your energy. Because if someone comes through and throws a bunch of negativity or angry energy at you, you will absorb it, right? Unless you have strong boundaries, you've done the boundary work to protect your aura and your energetic field. But so many times we come across this negative energy and we absorb it. Take anger from someone and then you get angry, and or take betrayal from someone and then you are angry. So the key is to understand your anger and figure out what's underneath that anger. Why am I so flippin' angry? Right? And that's part of what I do with my clients. I help them release that first layer of that volatile, impulsive, just wanna do something, that anger, right? You've got to release the volatility of that energy and give it to earth, transmute it, give it to universe, ground yourself, release it with your breath, release it with your body, release it with your energy, right? Release it with through your throat, scream it, scream, shout, move, walk, jog, right? Anger is just really strong, big energy. It may be suppressed in your body, or you could just be carrying it as an everyday emotion that has you flipping out at every incident. So maturity as you grow in life comes when you realize anger is just an emotion like sadness, grief, right? It's trying to tell you something. You've got to wait. You've got to pause. You've got to understand your anger. You've got to honor your anger. Your anger is energy that is trying to tell you something. Your anger wants you to understand it, but your anger wants to release as well, wants to be expressed, right? So when you are in that fight mode, super angry, in that trauma response, how dare somebody say this to me? How dare they do this to me? Right? When you feel that, the mature response as you heal is to express the anger healthily so you can get the results you want, honestly, right? Nobody wants to be stuck just fuming, which is so bad for your health. So many diseases from just state like high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes. Like, don't even get me started on what cumulative anger can do to your health and your well-being. You don't think clear, you don't speak your truth, you're just wrapped in that that strong volatile energy. And that's great, but that's more of a teenager response, right? Your inner teenager is mad, and that's what they're expressing. So now your job as an adult is to have your inner teen understand that let's release this anger so I can get to my inner child and understand what the issue truly is. And then get your wise, loving inner parent involved, your higher self involved, that higher order thinking, connection to God, right? Involve all those things. And as you practice this, it'll become a process, because anger comes up a lot, right? Our lives and this global, it's just so stressful. So very important on your healing journey to release all that does not serve you, and to release it on a daily basis. And you can do it with a couple minutes, 5 minute meditation and breath work in the morning. If you're somebody who struggles with just being really angry easily, impulsively, right, or is in a situation that angers you and you've got to manage your anger, so you've got to talk to your inner teenager who speaks the truth of what they don't like happening to your inner child. So once you release the volatility of that inner teenager, the impulsivity, that fiery anger, then you can sit. Once the dysregulation from your body is gone and you're not just angry, like the symptoms are gone, right? Your blood pressure will be normal. You will feel more objective. You will feel more grounded as you do this practice. And then you can think and problem solve. But if you try to problem solve the situation that's making you angry while you're still very angry, it might backfire, right? Because nothing gets solved when so many relationships end, when people just get really mad. And that causes a lot of confusion, because it's hard to express your truth when you're so angry. All right, let me check if there's any questions or comments. All right, well, thank you for watching. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want me to do more tapping right now, or should we do more chit chat about anger, or should we meditate another time on anger? The key with anger, the fastest way to resolve your anger is through breath work. Like, involve your body and push that anger out. You've got to get mad to release the anger up off your body, but then you've got to get mad very strategically almost, right? You've got to get mad so you can skim off, I say, like the top layer of that destructive anger. Because healthy anger, you need healthy anger. You need healthy anger, because that anger is telling you what's wrong, what's going on. The anger is a sign that things are not going well or things need to change, right? So with anger, you've got to express it in a healthy manner. And most of the time, people get stuck in the unhealthiness of that anger, and that leads to so much destruction. Anger can be very healthy when controlled, right? And you control that your anger, it's a part of you. It's not all of you. Your anger is a small part of you. You're feeling angry. You are not anger. So once you release that, then you can objectively think and plan and do what you need to do, right? So that's one of the biggest thing with anger, that parenting your anger. You are your anger's parent. Your anger is not you, right? That's one of the biggest things that I invite people to do, to explore the source of your anger, but after you've done the body work. With the emotion like anger, people who get angry a lot, they've got to work out, they've got to go to the gym or running, right? You've got to release that anger. before you can get into the self inquiry of what's really happening. What is this anger masking? Anger is always masking either fear, sadness, emotional pain. Somebody betrayed you, somebody was not there for you, they abandoned you, right? There's so many reasons. So you've got to and then another thing that I noticed so much online and just a lot in the world is that people don't take responsibility for your anger. They believe, I think because they're not able to process their anger, they don't know how to release it healthily, and they get blended in with their anger. They become all about that angry energy, and our culture glorifies anger. Our culture, kind of gives way to anger, so to speak. But you have to find the middle ground where you can healthily manage the anger and still use it to fuel what needs to be done without letting the anger control you or your behavior. Right? You've got to guide your anger. Let me put it this way. You have to guide your anger. Unless you're a teenager. If you're a teenager, I will still have you guide your anger. But if you're an adult in this world and you're just going about going about angry, right? You've got to learn to manage it. You've got to learn to release the energy first, right? So a lot of people don't know what anger feels like, right? So anger will feel like heat in your body. It will feel like tension in your neck, in your jaw, racing heart, flushing, like heat coming out, right? So make a plan to release. If you're somebody who has consistent anger issues, you've got to heal it daily. Anger is an energy that demands your respect, demands your attention. If it gets out of hand, then it demands the attention of the whole entire world, right? But anger is an energy that can be used with so much purpose, and it can bring you so much productivity, right? And so much growth and so much. But you've got to get to the root cause of it, right? You've got to figure out, is there a resentment that was just building up because a boundary was being crossed over and over again, right? Was it something that I should have said sooner, right? So engaging in this deep breathing, exercising, writing your anger, practicing a lot of people, like I will lift weights when I'm feeling the weight, the anger, right? So involving your body to release your anger is one of the most important things, and people either suppress it or all they do is just go vent their anger to a therapist or a friend or to whoever will listen, right? Or they'll put the angry energy that they have, they'll give it to their significant other, or they'll give it to, if they got mad because somebody crossed their boundaries or did them wrong, they don't think of transmuting that anger. They give that anger compounded to their friends, family. And so that's how anger builds angry societies and systems, because nobody takes the time and intention to release that anger so you can get to that rational. Because if you're angry, right, your sympathetic is running, your heart's racing, you don't have access to your thinking brain, right? And when you don't have access to your thinking brain, how are you going to problem solve, right? Anger is caused because there's a problem, but you cannot problem solve constructively. Yes, you can burn the house down. Yes, you can, right? But that's really not gonna get you the results that are optimal, right? So especially for trauma survivors, trauma survivors, I had definitely have a soft spot for them, for for all of us, because So much has been done wrong to us, and many times we don't speak on it. We just hold it in, or we don't speak to that person and tell them to stop. We just hold it in, or we go vent to someone else. So that's my biggest takeaway, that recognize that all human beings have this emotion. Anger is a very normal, healthy emotion. So the stigma around anger is really not necessary. What the stigma around is and should be is the releasing your anger and dumping it unhealthily on your children, right? How many times the dad is mad, comes home and takes out the anger on the wife or the kids or the girlfriend, right? So taking out your anger on your people in your life is gonna harm you even more. It's gonna harm you more than the anger sitting with you, because anger is sitting with you. It's gonna harm your body. It's gonna eat away, right, if you didn't express it healthily. But it's going to ruin your relationships. I can guarantee you that, because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed so many people throw away such good things from their life because they could not manage their anger. So many people, anyways, yeah. So, and another harmful behavior that I notice a lot with anger is that people invalidate your anger, and that makes people angry even more. So if you're angry and if you are truly angry, there's a reason for it. Unless you are emotionally addicted to being angry, and that's a whole another thing. But even with that, if you are emotionally addicted to being angry, you still have to release it every single time it comes up. That's the only way, that's one of the ways to unwire that anger, right? You got to recognize you're not perfect. You probably learned this from someone, because we are a product of our environment. So the way you saw anger being expressed in your childhood is how you will usually express it as well. So if you were around a parent, maybe a dad, who was so volatile with his anger and physically, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, right? How many times do we hurt people because we're angry and we verbally just spew? So now I want you to take that anger and breathe it out. Breathe. And you'd be surprised at how much change can happen and healing can happen when you do breath work and meditation and tapping to, and the intention to release that unhealthy anger has to be there. You've got to learn that my anger is valid, but my unhealthy expression of it is not acceptable. That's right. So you've got to take responsibility and accountability for how you express that anger, so it does not cause more damage in your job or your, whatever's pissing you off. Take responsibility, take accountability, because you're an adult now and you can do it. The more you let the anger fester, the worse it's gonna get over time, right? The sooner you learn to manage anger and honor it as a human emotion, which is so valuable. Anger is a very valuable emotion. So codependents will suppress the anger, and narcissists will spew the anger, right? But if you are becoming a more secure, healthy person, you've got to learn to a middle ground, right? You've got to give your anger a middle you've got to give your anger a middle ground, so you can express it and not either store it in your body or have it, in your family or your environment, right? Anger is a protective emotion. It is there to defend you. It is there to let you know that something's not right, somebody did me wrong. It's a signal that healing is needed. And for trauma survivors, anger is a reminder of past injustices. So our anger is like tenfold, right? So if you are stressed and just burnt out stretched to the max, and somebody does something tiny, triggers you, and your anger goes all the way back to the childhood when you were sleeping and somebody just slapped you. Just one example that I heard from a client, right? Yeah, she was just slapped because fell asleep when she wasn't supposed to, or something like that, right? So every time that anger comes up because she was safe and sound and sleeping with her guard down and in a vulnerable position, and her parent just slapped, right? That made her so angry. But at that time, she was just a little child. But now that anger comes up tenfold, hundredfold. So the key was to heal, go back to the past and heal that child who had to endure all the injustices, the child who had to bear with like all the boundary violations or abuse because they were powerless and helpless and dependent on parents, right? So you've got to go to the past, acknowledge and address that anger so you can uncover what's going on underneath it. Underneath that anger was so much grief that a parent could do that to her while she was sleeping, right? That unsafety of sleeping in your own house, not being safe, that made her so mad, right? So that's what the anger was telling her to go back. So we did the work to go retrieve the child from that home and that situation, but we did the work to say, role play is what we did, to say to the father, how dare you, how can you, right? So it still gives me, oh my goodness, still gives me goosebumps because it was such an emotional session for both of us. But that's what you've got to do. Any memory of resentment and past anger you have to release, or the anger today will compound that fire, right? So heal your anger, but don't get rid of it. Heal, transform that volatile piece of your anger, right? As an adult, take the time, of course, to heal your nervous system so you can have regulation and control over yourself, but develop that ability to let the anger rise and not act on it. Practice it so that you can let the anger show you what truly needs addressing. What problem solving, right? What problem solving do you need so that you can heal your anger, right? And then at the end of the day, you've got to be gentle with yourself, as you navigate your anger. Remember that it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to take the time to heal your anger and treat yourself with kindness, because you weren't born angry. Nobody's born angry. You're not an angry, no one is born an angry person. Maybe you were born with a dysregulated nervous system because your mother, when you were in utero, maybe she was dysregulated, which happens so much because pregnancy and the environment, so many things affect, right? So you could be born with a dysregulated, like a colicky baby. What are they? They're just dysregulated nervous system. So it's okay to have dysregulation, but what you do with it, right? What you do with it, how much love, compassion, care, attention, time you devote to your anger to heal it is going to determine your transformation. Because things like anger, fear, shame, toxic guilt, these have a strong hold on you. Grief, I just did a grief meditation with a client, and then I did a live a few minutes before this with grief meditation. So emotions are okay. Emotions are good. Emotions tell you what's wrong. Joy tells you what's good, right? How do you know some that you like this or you don't like this? Your emotions, your feelings. You feel good, so you know you like something. You feel bad, you know you don't like something, right? So emotions are good. So don't suppress your emotion, don't suppress your anger, but reclaim your power, right? That's my biggest message to you. Anger is okay, but you've got to learn to reclaim your power from this anger. Alrighty. Well, that's my own. I feel like, okay, hi, Micheletta. I feel like I cannot feel anger. It's been years. So, your anger is probably suppressed. You don't feel the anger because you're too scared to feel it. So I guess my anxiety is anger. Your anger, your anxiety is because you feel unsafe in your body or in your inner environment or your outer environment. Usually people who are angry, usually people who are anxious are anxious because they know they cannot, because their inner child knows they cannot protect themselves, and they feel unsafe in their body, in their nervous system, either because of the childhood that they had to go through, or in the current environment. Their parts know that their boundaries would be violated if, that they're not able to protect themselves, that they will get betrayed, that they will be abused. So when you don't feel safe in your body or in your environment, that's what causes anxiety, that feeling of unsafety. And when you're anxious, you're fearful, you don't feel anger, you feel scared. So I will do tomorrow, probably, or just look on my channel soon. I will do a meditation and I will talk about how to heal your fear. So when you heal your fear, you will be able to heal your anxiety. Another thing for anxiety, diet has a really big part in causing anxiety. Seasonal times have part in anxiety, right? So check if you're anxious, Micheletta. Check I hope I'm saying your name right, but check your environment, see what's making you feel unsafe in your body. Also check on vitamin D and omega, if you take omegas 3s and 6s. So diet has, and if you take a lot of sugar, that will also make you anxious. So you got to check your diet, but then check your environment and see what is making me feel so unsafe that I'm constantly anxious. You don't feel your anger. That's absolutely right. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've just been through all this and now I teach all this, so I understand. So check your environment, see the people, places, and things. Check who's making you feel unsafe and learn to set boundaries with that person. No contact, limited contact. Focus on yourself and your healing. And with anxiety, you've got to get into habits of morning ritual, evening practice to soothe your inner child, because when you're anxious, your inner child feels really, really unsafe. So tapping is amazing for clients with anxiety. They tap, right? I'm feeling anxious, but I'm safe. I'm feeling anxious, but I'm safe. This anxiety will pass. So your self-talk is so huge, because honestly, there is no real pharmaceutical. Let me tell you this, even though they give so many medications for anxiety, there is really no pharmaceutical that takes away anxiety. They will make you drowsy, but they won't take away the anxiety, right? There's lorazepam and so many, Ativan. So there's medications, but I'm not a believer of medication for anxiety. I am a believer of herbs are potent to heal anxiety, right? I put my client on like a few things depend, like there. So if you search and research, maybe I will make a post on it on my Instagram, but there are herbs that can help you with anxiety, and you take a little bit every day. Not nothing that intoxicates you, right? But there are herbs like rhodiola, ashwagandha. I don't know if you're a believer of herbs, but they will help you. But breath work is so amazing. So in anxiety, what happens, it's like you are not in your body. So with breath work, grounding, oh my goodness, grounding will help you so much with your anxiety. So with grounding, all you have to do is go to a grassy area and put your feet straight up on earth, and earth will absorb. So there's a whole scientific reason on how the electromagnetic field of the earth works with our field to absorb the charge. But what I'm trying to tell you is ground yourself in nature, and your anxiety will start to dissipate. But then more importantly, you've got to check your environment for safety, current environment, and then you've got to go. So in my book, so I'm an author. This is my book, The Five Self-Love Languages. So this will teach you how to heal your past, right? So you have to heal your past, which means you heal your past wounds, you heal your nervous system. That's the biggest thing with anxiety. With depression, it's mostly because you have grief and emotional pain, but anxiety is telling you, and anxiety can be fixed, but it's mostly safety issue. Oh, you are a believer. Yeah. So look into those herbs, are very, very helpful. And you don't really need them for a long time. It's usually like till you kind of get a hold of yourself. And as you do the work and you heal your childhood wounds and you rewire your nervous system to safety. And in my book, I talk about how to rewire your nervous system to safety, or you can search it up. As you rewire your nervous system to safety with herbs, with breath work, with nature, and grounding with God, you've got to have a strong faith in universe, in God, something high, something bigger than you, that you can hold on to when that anxiety comes, right? And above all, the belief that anxiety is temporary. Anxiety is communication from your nervous system. Alrighty, so I hope this is helpful. I will be back again maybe tomorrow and talk about. I like doing these lives. It's kind of free flow, chit chat. It just kind of works better than a. You are so welcome. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And then tapping, holding yourself. So actively work on whatever is bothering you. What happens with people who have anxiety is that they take care of the whole world, and they're anxious because nobody is taking care of them. If no one's taking care of you, you're not gonna feel safe. If no one is there for you, if you are also not there for yourself, if you are somebody who abandons, this is a whole nother life, but if you're somebody who abandons themselves, that's going to make you constantly anxious. If you are around narcissists, that will make you constantly anxious because they're unsafe people. And no matter what you tell them, their anger is going to be tossed at you, right? If you're around a narcissist and you're anxious, then I'm not surprised, you know? Okay, then. Talk to you guys later. Have a really good evening. God bless.